The 1960s were a time of bold experimentation in the American automotive industry, leading to the creation of some truly iconic vehicles. However, not all innovations were successful. This chapter examines the 15 worst and stupidest American cars of the 1960s, highlighting those models that, due to design flaws, mechanical issues, or poor market reception, failed to leave a positive mark on automotive history.
Dear viewer, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thanks for your support.
Number 15. The 1969 AMC Hurst SC Rambler, also known as the Scrambler, was American Motors Corporation's attempt at creating a budget-friendly muscle car that could compete with heavy hitters like the Plymouth Roadrunner and Ford Mustang. Developed in collaboration with the Hurst Performance Company, it was a limited edition car with only about 1,512 units produced. While it offered solid performance and a powerful engine, its styling choices were polarizing. The SC Rambler featured an attention-grabbing red, white, and blue paint scheme designed to evoke a sense of patriotism. However, many found the combination overly gaudy and loud. The large Rambler script on the rear quarters, hood scoop with air callouts, and broad racing stripes gave it a somewhat cartoonish appearance, which turned off more conservative buyers. The SC Rambler came in two distinct paint schemes. The most famous and commonly recognized version, featuring white as the base color with a blue center stripe and red side accents. A more subdued version, featuring blue side stripes without the large central stripe, but still loud by most standards. In addition to its bold paint, the SC Rambler sported an oversized hood scoop, complete with air lettering and a functional cold air intake. This was not only a styling choice but a performance feature. Despite its utility, the scoop's exaggerated size contributed to the car's over-the-top appearance. The heart of the SC Rambler was a 390 cubic inch, 6.4-liter V8 engine, producing 315 horsepower and 425 pound-feet of torque. This engine gave the lightweight car an impressive power-to-weight ratio, allowing it to accelerate from 0 to 60 miles per hour in just over 6 seconds. It was one of the most powerful engines AMC had ever produced. The SC Rambler came with a 4-speed manual transmission with a Hurst shifter, which provided quick and precise gear changes. This added to its muscle car cred, giving it solid performance on the drag strip. The car's suspension was upgraded from the standard Rambler to handle the added power, including heavy-duty shocks and anti-sway bars. While these changes improved handling, the car's ride quality could still feel harsh, especially on rough roads. Inside, the SC Rambler was bare bones, with a focus on functionality rather than luxury. The seats were simple, the dashboard was minimalistic, and the trim was basic. This was in line with the car's budget muscle car ethos. Basic gauges provided essential information, but it lacked the more refined or performance-focused interior features found in competitors like the Mustang or Camaro. While the car was small and light, it wasn't designed for long-distance comfort. The interior materials and seating were durable but utilitarian, more suited for short bursts of speed than cruising. AMC aimed the SC Rambler at younger, performance-minded buyers who wanted muscle car performance on a budget. The car's low price point, starting at just under $3,000, made it accessible to a broader range of customers. However, its loud styling alienated buyers who wanted a more understated performance car. The SC Rambler was positioned against other affordable muscle cars like the Plymouth Roadrunner, Ford Fairlane Cobra, and Chevrolet Nova SS. While it offered competitive performance, its limited production run and controversial design made it less popular than its rivals. The red, white, and blue color scheme was one of the car's most divisive features. While some appreciated its boldness, many potential buyers were turned off by the exaggerated look. In a market filled with muscle cars that balance power with stylish design, the SC Rambler was seen as too loud and ostentatious. Despite the polarizing design, the SC Rambler was praised for its performance. With a low curb weight and a powerful engine, it performed well at the drag strip and was considered a bargain for the performance it delivered. While the car was fast, its lack of refinement polarizing design, and AMC's limited brand appeal kept it from achieving mainstream success. With only 1,512 units produced, the SC Rambler was a niche vehicle. It never achieved widespread popularity, but has since become a cult classic among muscle car enthusiasts. Today, the Hurst SC Rambler is highly sought after by collectors, partly due to its rarity and partly due to its unique place in the muscle car pantheon. Cars with the original A-Scheme paint and Hurst equipment are especially valuable. Number 14. The 1962 Ford Galaxie was part of Ford's full-size car lineup and was named after the space race, which captured public imagination in the late 1950s and early 1960s. The base model was designed as an affordable, family-oriented vehicle rather than a high-performance car. While the Galaxie name would later be associated with muscle car performance, particularly with models like the Galaxie 500, the 1962 base model failed to excite consumers. Its combination of uninspired styling and lackluster engine options made it one of the more forgettable vehicles in Ford's lineup at the time. The 1962 Ford Galaxie featured a more restrained and conservative design compared to the flashier cars of the late 1950s. While some might consider the design clean, others found it bland, particularly in the base model where trim was kept to a minimum. The base Galaxie came with a boxy, straight-edge body design. There were no extravagant tail fins or chrome embellishments like in previous years, which left the car looking plain and uninspiring to some. The grille design was simple, consisting of horizontal bars, with dual headlights that lacked any unique styling elements to make the front end stand out. The interior of the base model was basic, with cheap materials and few amenities. The bench seats were standard, and the dashboard was Spartan, offering only basic instrumentation. The base Galaxie was powered by small, underpowered engines that did not deliver the muscle car performance that would later be associated with the Galaxie name. The standard engine was a 3.7-liter straight-six, producing just 135 horsepower. This engine offered sluggish acceleration and struggled with the weight of the full-size body. The optional V8 engine, a 4.8-liter, was an upgrade in power but still fell short in performance. It produced around 175 horsepower, which was sufficient for daily driving but unimpressive compared to other full-size cars of the era with more powerful V8s. The base model came with a 3-speed manual transmission, though a 2-speed automatic, Fordomatic, was available as an option. Neither transmission helped the car stand out in terms of performance, with both offering slow shifts and a generally unrefined driving experience. The Galaxie's handling was typical for a full-size car of the early 1960s, soft and comfortable for cruising, but lacking precision and responsiveness. The suspension was designed for a smooth ride rather than sharp handling, making it feel disconnected from the road. The base Galaxie was marketed as a family-friendly car with a low price point. Ford aimed this version at buyers who needed a reliable, spacious vehicle for daily driving, rather than those looking for performance or style. In 1962, the base Galaxie competed with other full-size cars like the Chevrolet Impala and Plymouth Savoy. While the Impala was seen as more stylish and the Savoy was more affordable, the Galaxie lacked a distinct identity that set it apart from its competitors. The 1962 Galaxie's styling was considered dull, especially when compared to more exciting cars being produced during the early 1960s. While other manufacturers were experimenting with bold designs and performance-focused models, the base Galaxie's conservative appearance left it looking dated and uninteresting. With its lackluster engine options, the base model's performance didn't match that of its competitors. Buyers looking for excitement turned to models like the Chevrolet Impala SS or the Pontiac Catalina, leaving the Galaxie behind in terms of desirability. The base model was quickly overshadowed by the higher trim Galaxie 500 and the performance-focused 500 XL, which offered more powerful engines and sportier styling. These models helped the Galaxie name gain recognition in the muscle car market later in the decade, but the base 1962 model is largely forgotten. Today, the base 1962 Galaxie is not considered a highly collectible car, with more attention given to the later high-performance models. Collectors who seek out Galaxies typically focus on the 500 XL or performance variants rather than the entry-level models. The 1962 Ford Galaxy base model was designed as an affordable, no-frills full-size car for the average American family. However, its bland styling and underwhelming performance made it forgettable in a market that was rapidly moving towards more powerful, stylish vehicles. While the Galaxy name would eventually become associated with muscle cars, the 1962 base model did little to advance that reputation, making it one of the less exciting offerings in Ford's lineup during the early 1960s. Number 13. The 1966 Chevrolet Chevelle 300 was the entry-level model in the Chevelle lineup, aimed at budget-conscious buyers. As the base model, the Chevelle 300 was built with economy and practicality in mind, offering minimal features and weak engine options compared to the sportier Chevelle SS models. While the Chevelle name would go on to become iconic in muscle car history, particularly with the high-performance SS versions, the 300 struggled to stand out due to its uninspired design, weak powertrain, and overall lack of excitement. The Chevelle 300 was modest and utilitarian in its appearance, while the 1966 Chevelle SS had bold, muscular styling. The Chevelle 300 lacked those aggressive design elements. The base model featured a simple, boxy design with limited chrome accents and a straightforward grille. It did not have the sleek, sculpted lines of the SS models or any of the sporty design cues that helped define the Chevelle brand later on. The 300 came with very basic trim options. Chrome was minimal, and there were no luxury or performance touches to give the car any visual flair. The overall design was plain and functional, with little to make it stand out on the road. The interior of the Chevelle 300 was basic, reflecting its position as the entry-level model. Vinyl bench seats, plain dashboards, and basic instrumentation were standard. It lacked the refinement or sportiness that could be found in higher-end Chevelle. One of the biggest drawbacks of the Chevelle 300 was its weak engine lineup. Unlike the SS versions, which came with powerful V8 engines, the 300 was designed more for economy and practicality. The standard engine was a 3.2-liter inline-six that produced just 120 horsepower. This engine offered slow acceleration and a lackluster driving experience, especially in a decade known for the rise of muscle cars. A slightly larger inline-six was also available, providing a modest 140 horsepower. While an improvement over the base engine, this still didn't deliver the power or performance needed to make the Chevelle 300 exciting to drive. The 2.83 V8 was an optional upgrade, producing around 195 horsepower. However, even with this upgrade, the Chevelle 300 still couldn't compete with the power of the SS 396 models, which featured much more robust engines. The Chevelle 300 came standard with a 3-speed manual transmission, though buyers could opt for a 2-speed Powerglide automatic transmission. Neither transmission was particularly refined, and the automatic was known for sluggish shifting and poor acceleration. Handling was average for the time, with a soft suspension designed for comfort rather than performance. The car's heavy steering and body roll made it less engaging to drive compared to the sportier versions of the Chevelle. The Chevelle 300 was aimed at buyers who wanted a practical, affordable vehicle with few frills. It was marketed as a no-nonsense, family-friendly car rather than a performance vehicle. Its simple design and modest price point made it attractive to people who needed reliable transportation but didn't care about power or style. In the mid-sized car market, the Chevelle 300 faced stiff competition from cars like the Ford Fairlane, Plymouth Belvedere, and the Dodge Coronet. Unfortunately, the Chevelle 300 didn't offer anything special compared to these models, which also had budget-friendly options, but often with better performance or more interesting designs. The Chevelle 300's biggest flaw was its overall lack of excitement. In an era dominated by the muscle car movement, with big V8s and bold designs, the Chevelle 300 felt out of place. Its weak engine options and plain styling failed to capture the attention of performance enthusiasts, leaving it overshadowed by more powerful cars. Critics of the time pointed out that the Chevelle 300's design was too plain and uninspired. While higher-end Chevelle had the muscular, aggressive look that attracted buyers, the 300 was visually dull. Without the sportier elements of the SS versions, the base Chevelle appeared utilitarian rather than exciting. Performance was a major drawback for the Chevelle 300. Even with the optional V8 engine, it wasn't capable of delivering the same thrills as competitors. The sluggish inline-six options and lack of strong acceleration made it feel underpowered. The Chevelle 300 was quickly overshadowed by the more powerful and stylish Chevelle SS models. The SS 396, introduced in 1965, became one of the most iconic muscle cars of the era, and its success largely eclipsed the base Chevelle models. Number 12. The 1964 Chrysler 300 was part of Chrysler's Letter series, which began as high-performance luxury cars in the 1950s. However, by 1964, the non-letter 300 models had become more mainstream, focusing on luxury and comfort rather than outright performance. The base model Chrysler 300 of 1964 marked a shift from the sporty and powerful letter cars to a more subdued, mass-market offering. Unfortunately, this transition led to a vehicle that was oversized, sluggish, and uninspired, lacking the excitement of both its predecessors and its contemporaries in the competitive luxury market. The 1964 Chrysler 300 had a conservative and restrained design, reflecting Chrysler's move towards a more subdued luxury image. While earlier 300 models had bold and dynamic styling, the 1964 model appeared bulky and lacked innovation. The front featured a broad, horizontal grille, flanked by large, round headlights. The overall design of the grille and headlights was quite basic, giving the car a heavy, uninspired look. There was little flair in terms of chrome accents or intricate details, making the front end appear plain. The car was long, wide, and heavy, with a low-slung profile. However, its size didn't translate into a sleek, imposing presence. Instead, it felt cumbersome and awkwardly proportioned, lacking the elegance expected of a luxury car in this class. The rear design featured modestly styled tail fins, a remnant of the 1950s design trends that were beginning to fade. The tail fins were not as pronounced or stylish as those of earlier Chrysler models, contributing to the car's outdated aesthetic. Inside, the Chrysler 300 offered a spacious cabin with standard luxury features, but it didn't go above and beyond in terms of refinement. The dashboard design was straightforward, with simple instrumentation and a basic layout. While the materials were decent, there was nothing particularly luxurious or groundbreaking about the interior's design or features. While previous Chrysler 300 models were known for their performance, the base model for 1964 lacked the muscle to back up its size. The engine options offered adequate power for a large sedan, but didn't deliver the thrilling performance associated with earlier 300 models. The base model came with a 383 cubic inch V8 engine that produced around 305 horsepower. While this may sound impressive on paper, the car's heavy weight dampened its performance, resulting in sluggish acceleration and lackluster power delivery. An optional 413 cubic inch V8 engine was available, offering around 360 horsepower. However, even with this more powerful engine, the base 300 still struggled to deliver the same level of performance as the Letter Series 300s of the past. The Chrysler 300 came standard with a 3-speed automatic transmission. The shifting was smooth, but it didn't do much to enhance the car's performance. It was built more for comfort than for speed, and the result was a slow, lumbering driving experience. One of the biggest criticisms of the 1964 Chrysler 300 was its poor handling. The car was heavy, with a soft suspension that prioritized comfort over agility. This led to significant body roll in corners, sluggish steering response, and an overall uninspiring driving experience. The car's sheer size and weight contributed to its poor handling. It was difficult to maneuver, especially in tight spaces, and felt more like a boat than a car on the road. While it absorbed bumps and road imperfections well, it lacked the precise handling expected from a luxury sedan. Despite its handling issues, the Chrysler 300 did offer a comfortable ride. The suspension was tuned for softness, which made long-distance cruising pleasant, but at the expense of driving dynamics. The focus on comfort over performance made it suitable for leisurely drives rather than spirited driving. The 1964 Chrysler 300 was aimed at buyers who wanted a large, comfortable luxury car without paying the premium for the higher performance letter series models. It was meant to appeal to middle-class families and older drivers who valued comfort and space over speed and handling. The 1964 luxury car market was highly competitive, with cars like the Cadillac DeVille, Lincoln Continental, and Buick Electra offering more style, refinement, and performance. The Chrysler 300 struggled to keep up with these competitors, as it didn't offer the same level of luxury or driving enjoyment. The 1964 Chrysler 300 base model was a large, comfortable car that failed to stand out in the competitive luxury market of the 1960s. With uninspired styling, sluggish performance, and poor handling, it lacked the excitement and prestige of both its predecessors and its competitors. While it offered a comfortable ride, it wasn't enough to make it a memorable or desirable luxury car, and it remains one of the less notable entries in the Chrysler 300 series. The 1965 Dodge Polara was a full-size sedan positioned in Dodge's lineup as an affordable, family-oriented car. Part of the fifth generation of the Polara line, the 1965 model marked a year of transition for Dodge, which was trying to balance its full-size offerings with the rising popularity of muscle cars. The Polara's design, performance, and overall appeal, however, left it overshadowed by sportier and more innovative competitors. With dated styling and underwhelming performance, the 1965 Dodge Polara sedan struggled to keep pace with the rapidly evolving automotive landscape of 1965, the 1960s. The 1965 Polara's design was a carryover of the early 1960s full-size sedans, which were becoming increasingly outdated as the decade progressed. While Dodge tried to update its cars with a more streamlined look, the Polara still retained many design elements that felt stale. The front fascia featured a horizontal grille design with simple rectangular headlights. The front was somewhat bland, lacking the bold chrome accents or sharp lines that were becoming common on more aggressive and modern-looking cars of the mid-1960s. The sedan had a large boxy body, typical of the era's full-size cars, but it lacked the styling flair to make it stand out. While cars like the Pontiac GTO and Ford Mustang embraced sleek, aggressive profiles, the Polara looked conservative and bulky. The rear end of the car was equally uninspired. With modest tail fins that were already going out of style, the rear styling felt like a throwback to the previous decade. The taillights were plain and didn't feature any design innovations that would catch the eye. Inside, the Polara focused more on function than luxury. It offered ample interior space, but the materials used were basic, and the design lacked the refinement or sophistication found in higher-end models. The dashboard layout was straightforward, with simple controls and minimal features. The 1965 Polara came with a range of engine options, but none of them truly delivered the kind of performance that Dodge enthusiasts were looking for. Even the more powerful engines struggled due to the car's heavy frame. The base engine option was a 318 cubic inch V8 that produced around 230 horsepower. While this was a decent power output for a full-size sedan, the Polara's weight made the engine feel sluggish, especially when compared to lighter, more agile muscle cars. An optional 383 cubic inch V8 engine was available, offering around 270 horsepower. This gave the Polara a bit more power, but the performance still didn't match the excitement or speed of many mid-1960s performance vehicles. A more powerful 413 cubic inch V8 was also available, providing up to 365 horsepower. However, this engine was only offered in select models, and even with the extra power, the Polara remained a heavy and cumbersome car to drive. The Polara came with a 3-speed automatic transmission or an optional 4-speed manual transmission. While the automatic was smooth and reliable, it didn't do much to enhance the driving experience, which was generally slow and uninspiring. One of the Pollara's biggest drawbacks was its handling. The car's large size, soft suspension, and unresponsive steering made it feel sluggish on the road. It was difficult to maneuver in tight spaces and lacked the agility of smaller, more performance-oriented vehicles. The Pollara's weight played a significant role in its poor handling. At over 4,000 pounds, it was far from nimble, and this became apparent in cornering and braking situations. Body roll was common, and the car felt unsteady at higher speeds. While the Pollara's handling was subpar, its ride comfort was acceptable for a full-size sedan. The suspension was tuned for softness, making it a reasonably comfortable car for long-distance cruising. However, this came at the expense of driving dynamics, and the soft suspension contributed to the car's poor cornering ability. The 1965 Pollara was aimed at middle-class families looking for a spacious, affordable full-size car. Dodge hoped to capture a share of the family sedan market with the Pollara, but it failed to impress younger buyers looking for sportier cars, or those who wanted a true luxury sedan. In 1965, the automotive landscape was shifting rapidly, with muscle cars and smaller, more agile sedans gaining popularity. The Pollara found itself in a crowded market, competing against more stylish and better-performing full-size sedans like the Ford Galaxy, Chevrolet Impala, and Pontiac Catalina. Number 10. The 1968 Plymouth Fury 3 was part of the third generation of the Fury lineup, a series of full-size cars that Plymouth had produced since the mid-1950s. Positioned between the entry-level Fury 1 and the more upscale Fury VIP, the Fury 3 was a mid-tier offering meant to appeal to middle-class buyers who wanted a bit more comfort and features without the premium price tag. However, despite its attempts to balance affordability with luxury, the Fury 3 struggled to make a significant impression due to its size, weight, and uninspired design. The 1968 Fury 3's design followed the general trend of late 1960s, American full-size cars, but it lacked any standout features that would have made it memorable. The front featured a relatively plain grille with vertical bars and quad headlights. The design was functional but not exciting, especially compared to more aggressive or sleek designs from competitors. The wide, flat hood contributed to the car's large and imposing presence, but it lacked any real flair. The Fury 3's proportions emphasized its full-size status, with a long, wide body that made it appear imposing but also cumbersome. At over 18 feet long, the Fury 3 was one of the larger cars on the market, contributing to its bulky appearance. The rear design of the Fury 3 was equally bland, featuring simple rectangular taillights and minimal chrome detailing. While some competitors were experimenting with more creative or futuristic rear styling, the Fury 3 stayed conservative, leading to criticism for its uninspired look. Inside, the Fury 3 offered a spacious cabin with bench seating and simple, functional controls. While there was plenty of room for passengers, the materials and design didn't scream luxury. It was a step up from the entry-level Fury Y, but it didn't offer the refinement or modern features found in more expensive full-size cars of the time. One of the biggest drawbacks of the 1968 Fury 3 was its performance, which was hampered by the car's size and weight. Despite offering a range of V8 engines, the Fury 3 was not known for its agility or speed. The base engine was a 225 cubic inch slant 6, which produced around 145 horsepower. This engine was severely underpowered for a car of the Fury 3's size and made it feel sluggish, especially when loaded with passengers or cargo. The next step up was a 318 cubic inch V8 engine, producing around 230 horsepower. While this engine provided more power than the Slant 6, it still wasn't enough to make the Fury 3 feel responsive or lively. The heavy body dampened acceleration, and the car's weight became apparent during even moderate driving. A 383 cubic inch V8 was available in two versions: a 2-barrel version with 290 horsepower and a 4-barrel version with 330 horsepower. These engines gave the Fury 3 a bit more punch, but even with the higher power output, the car's weight and size made it difficult to drive in a spirited manner. The top engine option was a 440 cubic inch V8, delivering around 350 horsepower. While this engine gave the Fury 3 more muscle, it wasn't as common and was usually reserved for more performance-oriented models within Plymouth's lineup. The heavy chassis still limited its full potential. The Fury 3 came with either a 3-speed manual transmission or an optional 3-speed automatic. Most buyers opted for the automatic, which suited the car's cruiser nature but did little to enhance its performance or driving dynamics. The 1968 Fury 3's handling was one of its weakest points. The car was large and heavy, which made it difficult to maneuver, particularly in tight spaces or on winding roads. Body roll was a significant issue during cornering, and the car felt disconnected from the road. The Fury 3's power-assisted steering was overly light, providing little feedback to the driver. This made the car feel even more disconnected and difficult to control, especially at higher speeds. The car featured a torsion bar front suspension and leaf springs in the rear. While the suspension was designed to provide a smooth, comfortable ride, it contributed to the car's lackluster handling. The suspension allowed too much body roll, and the Fury 3 felt unsteady during sudden maneuvers. While the handling was subpar, the ride comfort was reasonably good for a car of its size. The Fury 3 was designed more for long, straight highway cruising than for spirited driving. On smooth roads, it offered a quiet and comfortable ride, absorbing bumps and imperfections well. The 1968 Plymouth Fury 3 was a large, mid-tier full-size sedan that failed to make a lasting impression in the late 1960s. With uninspired styling, sluggish performance, and poor handling, the Fury 3 didn't stand out in a market filled with more exciting and better-performing vehicles. While it offered decent ride comfort and plenty of interior space, these positives were outweighed by its numerous shortcomings. The 1962 Chevrolet Corvair Monza was part of the second year of the first-generation Corvair, Chevrolet's attempt to produce a compact rear-engine car to compete with European imports like the Volkswagen Beetle. Introduced in 1960, the Corvair was revolutionary in its design, featuring an air-cooled, rear-mounted flat-six engine, which was unique for an American car at the time. However, despite its innovations, the Corvair became notorious for its handling problems and safety concerns, which were most famously highlighted in Ralph Nader's 1965 book, Unsafe at Any Speed. The Monza trim was marketed as a sportier version of the Corvair, offering upgraded features and a more refined look. But it still inherited the same underlying mechanical flaws that plagued the entire model lineup. The 1962 Corvair Monza was a compact rear-engine car with a sleek and modern design, inspired by European cars of the era. The Monza trim aimed to be a sportier, more luxurious version of the basic Corvair, with subtle design upgrades like chrome accents and unique badging. The front of the Corvair Monza was simple, with dual round headlights and a small horizontal grille. The low, wide stance gave it a more European look, but it was still somewhat bland compared to the bold styling of other American cars of the time. The car had a streamlined, slightly rounded body with gentle curves. Its compact size and rear-engine layout gave it a distinctive silhouette, which set it apart from the larger front-engine sedans that dominated the U.S. market. Inside, the Monza trim offered bucket seats, upgraded upholstery, and additional chrome trim, giving it a sportier and more upscale feel than the standard Corvair. However, despite the improvements, the interior was still fairly basic compared to other compact cars that offered more features and higher quality materials. The 1962 Corvair Monza was powered by an air-cooled 145 cubic inch, 2.4-liter, flat-six engine mounted at the rear of the car. This configuration was unique for an American car, but it came with significant drawbacks. In the Monza, the engine produced 80 to 102 horsepower, depending on the configuration. While this was adequate for a compact car, it was far from exciting, especially when compared to the higher output engines found in similarly priced cars. The Corvair Monza offered a 3-speed manual transmission as standard, with an optional 4-speed manual or 2-speed Powerglide automatic. While the manual transmission provided a sportier feel, the overall driving experience was still hampered by the car's handling flaws. The biggest issue with the Corvair Monza, and indeed all Corvairs of this generation, was its handling, particularly at higher speeds or during sudden maneuvers. The rear-engine, rear-wheel drive layout made the Corvair Monza prone to oversteer, especially in emergency handling situations. The weight of the engine in the back caused the rear of the car to swing out easily, leading to dangerous handling characteristics. The Corvair's rear swing axle suspension was the root of many of its problems. Unlike the more sophisticated independent rear suspensions found in European cars, the Corvair's setup was prone to severe camber changes during cornering, which could cause the tires to lose contact with the road. This made the car feel unstable, especially during sharp turns or on uneven surfaces. The Corvair Monza, like other Corvairs, required a specific tire pressure differential between the front and rear tires to maintain balanced handling. If the tires were not properly inflated, which was often the case, the car's handling became even more unpredictable, increasing the risk of accidents. While the Corvair Monza was relatively comfortable for a compact car, the rear-engine layout caused some ride quality issues, particularly on rough or bumpy roads. The car tended to bounce or sway more than front-engine competitors. The 1962 Chevrolet Corvair Monza was a sportier and more upscale version of the infamous Corvair, but it still suffered from the same mechanical and handling issues that plagued the entire model lineup. While it offered a unique design and a more European-inspired driving experience, its rear-engine layout and flawed suspension made it prone to dangerous oversteer and poor handling. Despite its initial popularity, the Corvair Monza's reputation was ultimately damaged by safety concerns, and it failed to leave a lasting positive impression in the automotive market. Today, the Corvair Monza is remembered more for its place in automotive safety history than for its performance or style. Number 8. The 1969 Ford LTD represented a significant model in Ford's full-size car lineup, marketed as a more upscale option than the more utilitarian models in their range. While it aimed to deliver comfort and style, the base model LTD fell short in several key areas, leading to it being considered one of the less impressive vehicles of the era. The 1969 LTD featured a classic full-size sedan silhouette, characterized by a long hood and a short deck. However, the base model lacked distinctive styling elements, making it blend in with the crowd rather than stand out. The LTD had a wide grille and large rectangular headlights, which were common design traits for full-size sedans of the time. While intended to convey a sense of luxury, the overall appearance was somewhat bland compared to competitors that had more memorable styling. Its large dimensions, lengthy and bulky, made it appear more cumbersome than elegant. The design prioritized size and presence over dynamic aesthetics, leading to a somewhat outdated look in an era that was evolving towards sleeker lines. The interior of the base model LTD was spacious, but utilized lower quality materials compared to higher trims. While it offered comfort, the lack of style and sophistication made it feel more like a family car than a luxury sedan. The base model of the 1969 LTD typically came equipped with a 302 cubic inch 4.9-liter V8 engine producing around 210 horsepower. This was adequate for everyday driving, but lacked the power and excitement that muscle car enthusiasts were seeking during this era. While higher trims offered more powerful engine options, including the 390 cubic inch V8, the base model's performance felt lackluster in comparison, contributing to its unremarkable reputation. The base model usually came with a 3-speed automatic transmission. Though functional, it did not provide the engaging driving experience that many competitors were delivering at the time. One of the primary criticisms of the 1969 LTD was its heavy, bulky frame. This excessive weight contributed to poor handling characteristics, particularly in terms of agility and responsiveness. The LTD utilized a conventional suspension setup, which prioritized comfort over sportiness. While the ride quality was soft and cushy, It did not offer the precise handling that drivers were beginning to expect from cars in this segment. The overall driving experience was characterized by a lack of excitement. The LTD felt cumbersome on the road, and its size made it less maneuverable than many of its competitors, which emphasized a more dynamic driving feel. The LTD was aimed at buyers looking for a full-size sedan that offered comfort and space. However, the base model's lack of standout features or performance made it less appealing to consumers who were increasingly interested in sportier options. The LTD faced competition from a variety of full-size sedans and muscle cars that were gaining popularity during the late 1960s. Known for its bold styling and a range of powerful engine options, the Impala offered a more exciting driving experience and better performance compared to the base LTD. The Polara provided strong performance capabilities and a more stylish design, making it a more desirable choice for many buyers in the full-size segment. Upon its release, the 1969 LTD was marketed as a premium full-size sedan, but the base model received mixed reviews. While some appreciated its spaciousness, many noted the bland styling and lack of excitement compared to other vehicles on the market. Over time, the base model LTD became associated with uninspired design and mediocre performance. The heavy body and poor handling diminished its appeal, particularly as the muscle car segment flourished with lighter, more powerful options. The LTD's shortcomings reflected a broader shift in consumer preferences during the late 1960s, as buyers began favoring cars that offered performance, excitement, and innovative design over mere size and comfort. Today, the 1969 Ford LTD base model is not highly sought after in the collector's market. While it may hold nostalgia for some, its lack of performance and distinctive features makes it less desirable than other models from the era. The 1969 Ford LTD base model aimed to be a comfortable full-size sedan, but ultimately fell short due to its heavy frame, bland styling, and lack of performance. As consumer preferences shifted towards sportier and more dynamic vehicles, the LTD struggled to maintain its relevance, making it a less memorable entry in Ford's lineup during a time of significant automotive evolution. Today, it stands as a reminder of an era when American cars were transitioning from traditional comfort-focused designs to a more performance-oriented approach. Number 7. The 1964 Dodge Dart 270 was part of the Dart lineup, which was Dodge's entry into the compact car segment. Positioned as a mid-range offering, the Dart 270 aimed to provide a balance of affordability and practicality. However, it struggled to make a significant impact in a market that was increasingly favoring performance and style. The Dart 270 featured a straightforward, unadorned design that was typical of many economy cars of the era. Its lines were simple, lacking the flair and distinctiveness that would help it stand out. The front grille was wide but bland, with rectangular headlights that did little to convey a sense of excitement. Overall, the design prioritized function over aesthetics, resulting in a forgettable look. While compact, the Dart 270 was still relatively boxy, contributing to its generic appearance. This lack of style made it less appealing to buyers who were drawn to the more adventurous designs of the time. The Dart 270 was equipped with a 225 cubic inch 3.7-liter slant-six engine as the standard option, producing approximately 145 horsepower. While adequate for basic driving needs, this engine was underwhelming in the context of a rapidly evolving muscle car market. Buyers could opt for a 273 cubic inch 4.5-liter V8, which offered slightly better performance, but the majority of buyers stuck with the Slant 6, reinforcing the Dart's image as an economy-focused vehicle. The standard transmission was a 3-speed manual, with an optional 2-speed automatic available. The manual transmission offered a basic driving experience, but neither option provided the engaging feel that performance-minded buyers sought. The Dart 270 utilized a conventional suspension setup designed for comfort rather than performance. This resulted in a ride that was smooth but uninspiring, with little feedback from the road. The overall driving experience was characterized by a lack of excitement. The car handled adequately for city driving, but struggled with acceleration and responsiveness, particularly when compared to its competitors in the compact and muscle car segments. The Dart 270 was aimed at budget-conscious consumers looking for a reliable and economical vehicle. However, as the muscle car craze took hold in the 1960s, the Dart 270's lack of power and performance became a liability. The Dart faced competition from various compact and muscle cars that were gaining traction in the market, including, introduced in 1964, the Mustang became an instant icon, capturing the hearts of buyers with its sporty design and performance options. The Nova offered a more dynamic driving experience and a range of engine choices, appealing to those looking for both economy and excitement. Upon its release, the Dart 270 received lukewarm reviews. While it was appreciated for its economy and practicality, many found it lacking in terms of style and performance, especially when compared to the emerging muscle cars. Over time, the Dart 270 became associated with a bland, forgettable segment of the automotive landscape. Its underwhelming performance and styling left it overshadowed by more exciting alternatives. The Dart 270's shortcomings highlighted a broader shift in consumer preferences during the mid-1960s. As buyers increasingly gravitated toward vehicles that offered more power and excitement, the Dart struggled to maintain relevance. Today, the 1964 Dodge Dart 270 is not highly sought after by collectors. While it may hold nostalgic value for some, its lack of performance and distinctive features makes it less desirable than more iconic models of the era. The 1964 Dodge Dart 270 aimed to be a practical and affordable compact car, but ultimately fell short due to its bland styling and underpowered performance. In an era dominated by the muscle car movement, the Dart 270 was quickly forgotten, serving as a reminder of how rapidly consumer preferences shifted toward vehicles that emphasized excitement and style over mere economy. Today, it stands as an example of the challenges faced by manufacturers trying to balance practicality with the growing demand for performance in the automotive landscape of the 1960s. Number 6, the 1968 AMC Rebel SST was a mid-size car that aimed to appeal to buyers looking for a blend of style and performance. Marketed as a sporty version of the standard Rebel, the SST was positioned to compete with other mid-size cars of the era, but it struggled to make a lasting impression. The Rebel SST featured a distinctive design that included a long hood and a sloping rear, intended to convey a sporty image. However, its styling was often described as uninspired and generic. The front grille was relatively bold for its time, but the overall look did not resonate with consumers seeking excitement. The SST's design lacked the aggressive styling cues that defined its more successful competitors. Although it had a modern mid-size silhouette, the proportions felt awkward, contributing to its forgettable image in a crowded market of appealing designs. The standard engine was a 232 cubic inch, 3.8-liter, 6-cylinder, producing around 145 horsepower. This engine was not competitive against the V8 options offered by rivals. While a 290 cubic inch, 4.8-liter V8 was available, it only produced about 200 horsepower. This was lackluster compared to the higher output engines found in competing models, diminishing the SST's appeal as a sporty car. The SST came with a standard 3-speed manual transmission with an optional automatic available. The manual offered basic functionality but did not enhance the driving experience significantly. The suspension setup was designed for comfort, resulting in a ride that was soft but uninspiring. The car handled adequately for daily driving, but struggled to provide the sporty feel expected by performance enthusiasts. Drivers often reported that the Rebel SST felt heavy and sluggish, lacking the agility and responsiveness associated with sporty midsize cars. The driving dynamics did not align with the performance image the SST aimed to project. The Rebel SST targeted buyers who desired a sporty image in a family-friendly car. However, it failed to attract the attention of younger consumers who were drawn to more powerful and stylish alternatives. The SST faced stiff competition from established players in the midsize market, such as the Chevelle offered a range of powerful V8 options and sporty designs that resonated with performance-minded buyers. As a muscle car with strong performance credentials, the Barracuda attracted attention with its aggressive styling and engine options. Upon its release, the Rebel SST received mixed reviews. While it was recognized for its practical aspects and comfortable ride, critics were quick to point out its lack of performance and engaging design. Over time, the SST became known for its shortcomings, particularly its inability to deliver on the sporty promise that its name suggested. It was often overshadowed by more popular and successful competitors. The Rebel SST's struggles highlighted a significant shift in consumer expectations during the late 1960s. As the muscle car movement gained momentum, buyers sought vehicles that offered not only style, but also genuine performance. Today, the 1968 AMC Rebel SST is a niche collectible, appreciated by AMC enthusiasts. However, it does not hold the same allure as its more iconic competitors, making it less sought after in the classic car market. The 1968 AMC Rebel SST was an ambitious attempt to create a sporty midsize car, but it ultimately fell short due to weak engine options and uninspired styling. In an era dominated by high-performance vehicles, the SST's lack of excitement and competitive performance rendered it forgettable. It serves as a reminder of the challenges faced by manufacturers trying to carve out a niche in a rapidly evolving automotive landscape, where consumer preferences increasingly lean toward power and style over mere practicality. Number 5, the 1961 Ford Starliner was a bold entry into the automotive market, known for its unique styling and advanced features. As part of Ford's Galaxy lineup, it was marketed as a sporty coupe that aimed to capture the imagination of consumers. However, despite its striking looks, the Starliner faced several challenges that hindered its success. The Starliner featured a distinctive, futuristic design characterized by a sleek roofline, long hood, and wide stance. The low-slung profile and dramatic tail fins were meant to convey a sense of speed and modernity. The car's design was a departure from the traditional shapes of the time, incorporating bold lines and chrome accents. It was intended to symbolize the optimism of the early 1960s and the American automotive industry's forward-thinking approach. A variety of vibrant color choices were available, enhancing its appeal to buyers looking for a stylish vehicle. The Starliner offered a range of engine options, including a 223 cubic inch, 3.6-liter, six-cylinder engine producing around 145 horsepower, which was considered underwhelming for a car with sporty aspirations. Higher trims featured V8 engines, including a 352 cubic inch, 5.8-liter V8 that produced up to 300 koni mechanicznych. While the V8 provided more power, the overall performance still lagged behind that of its competitors. Many drivers found the Starliner to be sluggish, particularly in comparison to rival cars that offered more engaging performance. Acceleration was lackluster, making it difficult for the Starliner to fulfill its sporty image. The Starliner was equipped with a conventional suspension system designed for comfort rather than performance. While it provided a smooth ride on flat roads, it struggled with cornering and responsiveness, diminishing the driving experience. The car's design contributed to a heavy feel, making it cumbersome to drive, especially when navigating curves or steep inclines. The Starliner was plagued by various reliability issues, including engine problems and electrical failures. These issues led to dissatisfaction among owners, tarnishing the model's reputation. Due to its complexity and potential for breakdowns, maintenance costs were higher than average, making it less appealing to budget-conscious buyers. The Starliner was aimed at buyers looking for a stylish, modern coupe that offered a sense of luxury and performance. However, it struggled to resonate with the target demographic, particularly as consumer preferences shifted toward more reliable and performance-oriented vehicles. The Starliner faced stiff competition from models known for its strong performance and stylish design. The Impala captured a significant share of the market. The Catalina offered a balance of style and performance that appealed to buyers seeking excitement in their vehicles. Upon its release, the Starliner garnered attention for its bold styling, but many critics quickly pointed out its performance shortcomings and reliability concerns. Over the years, the Starliner's image was marred by its inability to deliver on the promise of sporty performance. It became a cautionary tale for ambitious designs that lacked the mechanical capability to back them up. Despite its shortcomings, the Ford Starliner remains an interesting piece of automotive history, representing the bold design ethos of the early 1960s. Its unique styling continues to attract a niche following among classic car enthusiasts. Today, the 1961 Ford Starliner is recognized more for its design than for performance. While not as sought after as some other classic models, it holds a place in the hearts of collectors who appreciate its innovative styling. The 1961 Ford Starliner exemplified the ambitious spirit of the early 1960s automotive industry, with its striking design and modern features. However, its sluggish performance and reliability issues ultimately overshadowed its aesthetic appeal, leading to its decline in popularity. The Starliner's story serves as a reminder that while bold designs can capture attention, they must also deliver on performance and reliability to succeed in a competitive market. Number 4. The 1966 Plymouth Valiant was part of the compact car segment that emerged in the early 1960s, designed to cater to budget-conscious consumers looking for economical transportation. While it had its practical advantages, the Valiant struggled to stand out amid a decade dominated by muscle cars and more exciting designs. The Valiant had a utilitarian design that prioritized function over flair. Its boxy shape and straightforward lines lacked the aesthetic appeal that attracted buyers to more stylish competitors. The overall look was quite conventional, featuring simple chrome accents and a somewhat uninspired front grille that did little to capture attention. The color palette was also muted, failing to offer the vibrant choices that many buyers desired during the era of bold automotive styling. The 1966 Valiant came equipped with several engine choices: a 170 cubic inch 2.8-liter slant-six engine producing about 101 horsepower. This engine was known for its durability but lacked the punch that many drivers sought. An optional 273 cubic inch 4.5-liter V8 engine provided more power, but even with this upgrade, the Valiant was not considered a performance vehicle. The Valiant's performance was sluggish, making it less appealing for those looking for a more spirited driving experience. Acceleration was lackluster, particularly when compared to the muscle cars that dominated the roads. The Valiant featured a simple suspension system that prioritized comfort over sportiness. While it provided a reasonably smooth ride, it did not handle well in tight turns or during aggressive driving. The car's weight and design led to a heavier feel on the road, which, combined with its lack of power, made it less enjoyable for drivers looking for a dynamic driving experience. Interior and features. The Valiant's interior was functional but sparse, lacking the comfort and styling of more upscale competitors. The dashboard and seating were basic, with limited features aimed at cost saving. The materials used in the interior were often seen as cheap, further diminishing the overall appeal. While it offered decent space for passengers, the overall ambiance felt drab, lacking the excitement found in other compact cars of the era. The Valiant was aimed at budget-conscious buyers and families looking for reliable transportation without frills. However, as the muscle car craze took hold, its appeal began to wane. It faced tough competition from more dynamic models like, known for its sportier options and performance, the Nova captured a more enthusiastic buyer demographic. Another compact that offered a mix of economy and performance, making it a more appealing choice. The Valiant was initially well received as an economical option for consumers, but as the automotive landscape shifted towards performance and style, it began to lose favor. Over the years, the Valiant's lack of excitement and underwhelming performance led to criticism, causing it to be overshadowed by more iconic models. While it may not have achieved the same iconic status as some of its contemporaries, the Valiant represents an era of practicality in the automotive world, reflecting the needs of everyday drivers. Today, the Valiant has a niche following among collectors who appreciate its simplicity and the history behind the model. However, it remains less sought after compared to more performance-oriented vehicles of the same era. The 1966 Plymouth Valiant serves as a reminder of the compact car segment's initial forays into the market, focusing on economy and practicality. While it offered reliability and affordability, its bland styling and underwhelming performance made it an uninspiring choice during a decade marked by innovation and excitement in automotive design. The Valiant's legacy is that of a sensible vehicle, but one that struggled to capture the spirit of the times. Number 3. The 1964 Rambler Typhoon was an ambitious attempt by American Motors Corporation, AMC, to tap into the growing compact car market while appealing to younger drivers with a sporty image. Despite its catchy name, the Typhoon struggled to deliver on performance and style, ultimately failing to make a significant impact. The Typhoon featured a distinctively styled body, with a slightly aggressive stance aimed at projecting a sporty image. Despite the evocative name, the actual styling was fairly conservative, lacking the flair that other sporty compacts offered during the era. The available colors were not particularly vibrant, making the car appear less exciting compared to competitors. The standard 196 cubic inch, 3.2-liter, six-cylinder engine produced around 120 horsepower. This engine was reliable but underwhelming, providing little excitement in terms of acceleration or responsiveness. A 287 cubic inch, 4.7-liter V8 engine was available, but it still lacked the power and performance associated with the sporty image that the Typhoon aimed for. The Typhoon's performance was often described as sluggish, making it difficult to compete with more powerful compacts from brands like Ford and Chevrolet. The car featured a conventional suspension setup that focused more on comfort than sportiness. This resulted in a smooth ride but limited handling capabilities. The Typhoon's weight and engine choices contributed to a heavy feel, which diminished its agility and responsiveness during cornering and quick maneuvers. Inside, the Typhoon was fairly basic and functional, reflecting its compact car status. The dashboard was straightforward but lacked the modern design elements found in more competitive models. The materials used were utilitarian, with few premium touches to elevate the overall experience. While it offered decent room for passengers, the overall ambiance was not particularly exciting, which did little to attract younger buyers looking for a sporty vibe. The Typhoon aimed to attract young, budget-conscious drivers interested in a sporty compact. However, its performance did not align with the expectations set by its name. Introduced in 1964, the Mustang quickly became the benchmark for sporty cars, offering robust performance and stylish design. Known for its blend of performance and affordability, the Nova appealed to a similar demographic, but with greater success. Upon release, the Typhoon attracted attention due to its name and sporty aspirations, but initial excitement quickly waned as consumers realized its performance limitations. Over time, the Typhoon was often criticized for its lack of power and excitement, leading to a decline in interest and sales. While the Typhoon did not achieve lasting fame, it stands as a reminder of the shifting landscape in American car culture during the 1960s, when the demand for performance and style began to dominate. Today, the Typhoon remains a relatively obscure model in the classic car market. It holds niche appeal for collectors interested in lesser-known vehicles from the era, but it is overshadowed by more iconic models. The 1964 Rambler Typhoon exemplifies the challenges faced by compact cars trying to capture a sporty image during a transformative period in the automotive industry. Despite its catchy name and attractive styling, it fell short on performance and excitement, ultimately failing to resonate with the very audience it sought to attract. Its legacy is that of a car that aimed high but landed softly, becoming a footnote in the annals of American automotive history. Number 2. The 1966 Chrysler New Yorker was part of Chrysler's flagship line, representing a blend of luxury and performance. However, the base model failed to deliver the expected standards of refinement and driving experience, leaving it criticized in the highly competitive full-size sedan market. The New Yorker featured a classic, elongated body typical of full-size sedans from the era, but the base model's styling was considered bland and unremarkable. While it had signature elements like a prominent grille and tail fins, The overall design lacked the excitement and flair that luxury buyers sought. The available paint choices did not enhance its appeal, often opting for conservative tones that blended into the crowd. The base New Yorker was equipped with a powerful 383 cubic inch 6.3-liter V8 engine generating around 325 horsepower. While this should have provided strong performance, the car's heavy weight limited its responsiveness. The combination of a heavy chassis and a powerful engine resulted in a sluggish acceleration, especially compared to lighter competitors in the luxury market. The car's weight affected handling, making it less nimble and more cumbersome to drive, particularly in urban settings where agility was a plus. The New Yorker featured a traditional suspension setup that prioritized comfort over sportiness, resulting in a soft ride that absorbed road imperfections well. While the ride was smooth, the handling was uninspiring, and cornering often felt lazy due to the vehicle's size and weight distribution. The car's heavy build contributed to a lack of agility, which was not ideal for drivers seeking a dynamic driving experience. The interior of the New Yorker was spacious, reflecting its full-size status, but it was often criticized for lacking the luxurious touches expected in a premium model. While some models offered decent materials, the base version had fewer premium features, making it feel less upscale than competitors. The cabin provided ample room for passengers, but the overall design was considered outdated, with limited modern conveniences compared to newer models. Aimed at buyers looking for a premium full-size sedan, the New Yorker struggled to compete with rivals that offered better performance and more appealing styling. Known for its luxury and distinctive styling, the Continental attracted buyers seeking a more refined and exciting driving experience. Renowned for its performance and opulence, the DeVille set a high standard for luxury sedans in the mid-1960s. Upon release, the New Yorker was initially seen as a luxury option, but consumer expectations quickly revealed its shortcomings in performance and styling. Over time, the base model was often viewed as a less desirable choice within the Chrysler lineup, overshadowed by higher trims that offered better luxury and performance features. The New Yorker, as a whole, represented a bygone era of American automotive design and luxury. However, the base model's lack of standout qualities limited its cultural impact. Today, the 1966 New Yorker has niche appeal among collectors, particularly those interested in full-size luxury cars from the mid-20th century, but it remains less sought after compared to its more desirable variants. The 1966 Chrysler New Yorker base model serves as an example of how even a flagship model can falter when it fails to meet the luxury and performance expectations of its target audience. With its heavy build, bland styling, and lackluster driving experience, it struggled to leave a lasting impression in a decade marked by innovation and excitement in the automotive industry. Number 1, the 1963 Dodge Dart wagon was part of Dodge's Dart lineup, positioned as a compact family vehicle. While the Dart nameplate had potential, the wagon variant fell short in performance, style, and overall appeal, making it less memorable among its contemporaries. The Dart wagon featured a boxy shape typical of the era, but its proportions were often considered awkward. The design included flat panels and minimal flair, which contributed to its bland appearance. The front grille and headlights were straightforward, lacking the distinctive character that could attract buyers. The available color palette was conservative, offering muted tones that did little to enhance its appeal on the road. The Dart wagon was equipped with a modest inline-six engine, which provided adequate but uninspiring power. Optional V8 engines were available, but even these didn't offer the performance expected by consumers looking for a family car with some excitement. The wagon's weight combined with the base engine resulted in sluggish acceleration, making it less responsive compared to competitors. While the Dart wagon was designed for family use rather than sportiness, its heavy steering and lack of agility made it less enjoyable to drive. The Dart wagon had a traditional suspension setup aimed at comfort, which provided a smooth ride over most surfaces. However, the softness contributed to a lack of control during cornering. While the ride was suitable for everyday use, the handling was uninspired, and drivers often felt disconnected from the road. The interior was practical but basic, prioritizing functionality over style. Materials were often utilitarian, lacking the comfort and aesthetics found in higher-end family cars. The wagon could accommodate a decent number of passengers, making it suitable for families, but the overall interior design was uninspiring. One of the benefits of the wagon design was its ample cargo space, which could be useful for families needing to transport goods. However, the lack of innovative features made it less appealing. Aimed at families looking for an economical and practical vehicle, the Dart wagon faced competition from other compact and mid-size wagons that offered better performance and styling. It had to contend with models such as, known for its sporty handling and better performance, the Falcon was more appealing to families wanting a fun driving experience. With more dynamic styling and engine options, the Nova attracted buyers looking for a compact wagon with character. When introduced, the Dart wagon received mixed reviews. While it met basic needs, it lacked excitement, leading to a lukewarm response. Over the years, the Dart wagon became known for its dullness, often overshadowed by other, more innovative and stylish family vehicles. The 1963 Dodge Dart wagon is often viewed as a representative of a more utilitarian approach to family cars in the early 1960s, lacking the charm or character that many sought in the evolving automotive market. Today, the Dart wagon has limited collectability, primarily attracting interest from enthusiasts of vintage Dodge models. Its lack of standout features and performance means it remains a footnote in automotive history. The 1963 Dodge Dart wagon exemplifies a segment of the automotive market focused on practicality rather than excitement. With its boxy design, slow performance, and uninspiring features, it struggled to make a lasting impression, serving as a reminder of the challenges faced by compact family cars in a decade rich with innovation and style.